morning, Mary Louise Vince with ABC Central Coast News. The New South Wales Reconstruction Authority will work with Coolewong residents whose homes were destroyed or damaged in last year's bushfire to help them with the rebuilding process. The authority will return to the Central Coast next month to provide information sessions on building back better. State Gosford MP Liesl Tesh says the sessions will be available to all Central Coast residents.
The next step is really supporting the families to build back, but also the bigger picture. Let's really think about making the Central Coast as safe as we can, because I'm at Coolewong and I look across the waterways and I see so many houses nestled into the trees.
The Regional Planning Panel's deferred its final decision on the 3 coastal protection work proposals to develop a seawall along Wombrel Beach. A public hearing on the plan was held earlier this month, but the panels agreed to adjourn for another 4 weeks to allow all beachfront property owners to come to a unanimous agreement on a way forward. The project is being supported and funded by a majority of private homeowners, but not all. Minister for the Central Coast, David Harris, says while it's unclear whether the applications will be approved, Council's coastal management plan will be the next step.
Part of that plan is for a low revetment wall at Wombrel, which would comprise of either basalt or sandstone. It would be a very low wall, but be covered in sand through a sand nourishment program, so a lot less impact on the beach.
Wombrel beachfront property owner Chris Rogers says all residents want is to protect their homes. Mr Rogers has suggested another potential option, not considered before, which is a low interlock sandstone wall below the sand. He says something needs to be done.
We're in favour of protection. We always have been. Now, 6 years ago, we started a process to try to solve a 50-plus year problem. We had one avenue to do that. Now we have other potential opportunities, and they're potential, so we need to confirm that.
The Central Coast is expected to gain more than 100 new social housing homes to be completed over the next few years. The venture's part of a $6 billion state government promise to deliver more than 800,000 homes across New South Wales. 5 are being completed in YE, with construction underway on more than a dozen in Wyong. Most of the homes will be for older residents. There's hope an artificial oyster reef trial conducted in Central Coast waterways will set a precedent for the species' future conservation. Researchers from Macquarie University place more than a dozen geometric-style concrete tiles to replicate natural reefs across parts of the Hawkesbury River and Brisbane water. Professor of Natural Sciences Melanie Bishop says the findings could help restore oyster populations across the country.
Oyster reef restoration is scaling up around Australia, and at the moment only about 50% of oyster reef restoration projects are successful. So we hope that these geometries and these shapes that we showed are most effective could actually be applied at larger scale.
Rabbit owners on the Central Coast are being warned to be vigilant with a wild rabbit control program due to get underway next week. Central Coast Council will release the rabbit hemorrhagic disease virus, also known as calicivirus, at Norah Head, Karagi Point, Shelley Beach, Yamina Beach, Davistown, Wadalba and Arimba. Pet owners are reminded to ensure their pet rabbits are up to date with their vaccinations and to avoid contact with other rabbits or hares. To sport, and the Central Coast Mariners have twice come from behind to clinch a 3-2 win over Western Sydney in Gosford last night. James Donachie scored the winner in the 89th minute after Bailey Brantman's long-range shot rebounded off the post. Coach Warren Moon says they couldn't have been much worse at half-time, but managed to turn things around.
I can understand, Wanderers will be feeling hard done by right now, and on the course of the whole game, probably rightly so, but I think for our effort, the way we never say die, and what we did in the last 20, we'll probably deserve that.
Meanwhile, the Central Coast Mariners women suffered a 3-1 home ground defeat to competition leaders Melbourne City on Friday night. The result leaves the side in 6th position, with their next game not until the 21st of March. Turning to the Central Coast weather now, partly cloudy with a slight chance of a shower, along with a chance of a thunderstorm later this afternoon and evening. Tops of 32 degrees for Gosford and Wyong, 31 at Woy Woy, and a top of 30 at the entrance. That's the latest in ABC.